Yeah.
What do you say to them is behind it? Is it competition for land? Is it fueled by religious and ethnic divisions? Is it something else?
Yes, this is a very good question you're asking, because I think that what actually has happened is that nobody is telling the truth about the problem in Benue and the Middle Belt. And we are wanting to be politically correct by saying, and I saw that in a major statement today, by saying that there is no religion involved in this crisis. Well, a statement today from the office of the SGF, for example, who said it's not about...
Secretary to the government.
Yeah, Secretary to the government, who said there is no religion involved in this, there's no ethnicity, it's an economic situation.
And you believe that there is religion and ethnicity?
Of course I do believe.
Well, tell us why.
Because this is not the first time. The people of Benue know that they have had an issue of jihadism in the past 100 years, that ended up in Benue. The people who took the jihad, who will never want to end, want to continue that jihad. The last jihad ended up in Benue. I used to joke with my Igbo friends and brothers and said, you know, Christianity is actually stabilized in Igbo land because we stopped the jihad in Benue. And so they want to continue that jihad, and the Benue is the center for them of that jihad. They believe that once they're able to overrun Benue, then they can reach the ocean, as they had always thought. And this is the narrative that nobody wants to talk about. We want to be politically correct, and therefore we are saying, oh, well, there's nothing religious about this, or there's actually nothing ethnic about this. You're talking about a people who are going into Benue to massacre people from week to week. And when the matter comes up, they say, oh, well, you know, please try and find reconciliation with the people. When did the Fulanis, who are doing the massacre in Benue, become members of Benue? The state was created in the 70s. The languages that are these guys come in the night, they come by river, they come by canoe, they get out of the canoe, they get out and go out and kill people, get back into the canoes and run back. They don't belong to Benue. They hope that continually, by decimating the people who are in the north of the Benue, they will be able to occupy that land, drive them out as they are, kill the people, they destroy the churches, they burn the homes, they take over, they take the people's food and offer to cows, and gradually they are inching into Benue. This is the situation, and that's the story which I like to tell anybody. And it's an unfortunate situation, because I think that the government is taking this matter not as seriously as it should. The same situation we have in Plateau, the same situation we have in Benue. Overrun Plateau, overrun Benue, and then move on. This is a story that must be told, and that story must be told openly, and we don't need to be politically correct. We want to be able to solve a problem. You must get to the root cause of the problem.
Indeed. And so, given what you're saying, although, as you said, the government of the Federation, I mean the SGF's office is disputing that, and so are some other people, what do you expect? I mean, it seems like, based on what you're saying, it's important for President Tinubu to actually go to Benue State and get to the heart of the matter. Because if what you're saying is the heart of the matter, then it's important for him to understand that, because that's the way to solve the problem, isn't it?
Precisely. And this is why I thought it's important for us to put this on the table. And President Tinubu must understand this before he puts petrol on the fire in Benue. Yesterday, the statement that came out from Bayo Onanuga said
that's one of the president's spokesmen.
The president's spokesman said that the people of Benue ought to reconcile among themselves, reconcile with the people who are killing them. Who are these people who are killing them? Do they know them? So how do you reconcile with someone whom you cannot even see?
That's a good point, because I put that point to the governor of Benue State when he was on this program yesterday.
Yeah. So how do you dialogue with someone whom you cannot see? Wait, the two of us are dialoguing now. You and I can talk about whatever issues. Those guys, nobody knows them. Nobody knows the address. They come in the night in hundreds. They kill in the night and they go. So the issue that is actually at stake here, which nobody is talking about, and I would like the president to address it. The United Nations is asking him to do so, and the Amnesty International is asking him to do so, and Pope Leo is asking him to do so, is to find out who is doing the massacring of the people, who is doing the killing, and to bring them to justice. Nobody is saying we must bring these people to justice.
So your assumption is that the president doesn't actually understand what is going on?
Precisely. I think he does not understand. He does need to understand the situation that's going on. And if he does not, then he goes in there and he can make a statement or make statements that are going to be inflammatory. They are going to make things worse. I think it's important for us to let the president know that there is a situation on the ground which he needs to understand properly and to address adequately when he's on the ground.
And you mentioned Pope Leo. I mean, he is the Catholic pontiff. Of course, he's the head of your church, the Catholic Church. I mean, he's been offering prayers in supplication over what has happened in Benue State, and his voice does carry a lot of political and moral weight. But I'm wondering whether or not he's getting involved in it because there's a religious, you're saying there's a religious element.
He has information in this regard. He has very clear and strong information in this regard. And that's why I'm saying, he would not want to get into the politics of Nigeria, but he's appealing because he knows that the people who are being massacred are members of his church. In fact, we are hearing that the bulk of the people who were killed in this attack are people who were kept in an IDP camp that is actually run by the Catholic Church. And so when that happens, then immediately through the nunciature and through the church in Nigeria, information gets to Rome. And he does that not only for Nigeria, but for whatever parts of the world where Catholics are affected. He makes appeals. But we are quite happy about this because it was so fast and so sharp, because it was he that actually brought to the awareness of Nigerians the seriousness of what happened in Yellow-Water, and I think that we're quite pleased with what he has done, and I think he has walking the consciousness of Nigerian leadership in the political class of what is happening, because how many times have people been killed? There was a time under Otom's government where we buried 97 people. There were 97 corpses that were put together in the stadium in Makurdi, at which we had a mass and had to bury them. This is happening at Christmas. This is happening at Easter. This is happening in the New Year. At periods when Christians are meeting and celebrating, this is when these people strike, most of the time.
Well, let's look at potential solutions, because I seem to remember, you mentioned Governor Autumn. I seem to remember that he enacted a law for the prohibition of open grazing. The machinery appeared to have been set up for that law to be implemented. Livestock guards, we're told, were put in place to try to ensure that cattle do not graze openly and randomly. But there are allegations that the current government has relaxed all this. Is that a fact?
Yeah, well, I think that there was not a very clear understanding at the beginning of this present administration.
The state administration.
The state administration, right. Yes. I think that in the course of the campaign, there was not a very clear understanding between one party and the other. But the problem has remained, because it is not a problem that actually began under Otom. It was there under Suswam's government, then under Otom's government, and the situation is exacerbated right now under the government of Fadalia, who is doing a lot indeed, unknown to many people, but trying to ensure that it does not escalate the situation.
Right.
It's trying to ensure that this can be taken care of. My worry at this particular moment is that the military is unable to carry out even the commands of the head of state, who say to them, for example, take care of this situation. He told us a couple of days back.
Unable, what do you mean?
Well, unable in the sense that they have not been able to move in to act.
Right.
And that is quite disheartening, because they could have done so much. There are groups of military attachments in Makurdi. And I can tell you, Charles, that it's like staying here at the Hilton, and there are people out around Asokoro who are attacking the city, and the military is here, and the military is doing nothing for week upon week and from month to month, and nothing has been done. So it looks as if there is some collusion between the military and these bandits, because the distance, if you know the distance where these people operate, it's so short that even if they walked on foot, they will be able to meet them halfway.
Well, I mean, we can't, obviously, I can't speak for the military. I don't know what the issues are. And we also have to be circumspect in why they have not been able to handle it. But it is a legitimate question that you raise as to why it has not happened. I mean, I don't think we have the answer yet, but there clearly is a reason. And I'm wondering, because you mentioned the state governors, I mean, a succession of them, these things have been happening, and you would have thought that they would have the kind of knowledge about what is going on in their states and would communicate that to the people who are coming there to try and solve the problem.
A very legitimate issue.
Yeah, but it just keeps repeating over and over. And I wonder also, even for the governors themselves, how, I mean, it's a very discomforting story, but how much it carries a message of helplessness for them over these almost daily killings. Because, I mean, it sounds like a very sort of deeply worrying reminder that governors in Nigeria are supposed to be the chief security officers in their states, but they don't appear to have control over the security machinery in their territories.
Yeah. Charles, if you disarm a man or disarm a governor, he has no powers. He can do little or nothing. And that's what I think has happened, because I think that the leadership of this country has disarmed the leadership of the states when it comes to matters of security. Forget about the security vote and all that. What do you use a security vote for when you have no powers to command, whether it's the police or the army, to take care of bandits or who are killing your people? They will not move. But this is a very serious and worrying situation, and it should be even for the government, because...
But is there anything more that you think the governor could be doing to quell the crisis in Benue State?
Well, Charles, you're asking me a very difficult question here, but I can attempt to answer, because I think that the people should be helped to protect themselves. They should be aided to protect themselves, because after years and years of attacks, the people are left helpless. They should be helped to protect themselves. What help will not be for me to say, but the Constitution allows people or anyone to protect himself from an aggressor. So what ways can be made available for protection should be done. I listened to an interview, some weeks back about of Governor Otom, who was saying that he wanted to be licensed to have the ammunition, firearms,
right,
so he could also face his people, And I laughed at it, because I said, the guys who have the AK-47s, who licensed them? Who gave them licenses? So we are getting into a state of anarchy.
Well, they obviously don't have licenses.
They don't have licenses. Yeah. And so
we're not going to allow people to be carrying guns, at random.
The situation right now is that people are carrying guns.
Right.
Unfortunately, and we know they are carrying guns. I don't know how many guns there are, for example, in Benue, but I think it's the same set of guns. One day they're in Agatu, 200 of them. Another day they are in Kashimbila, that is from the Cameroon border towards Taraba, 200 of them. Another day they're in Nasarawa, 200 of them or more, and I think that they are in hundreds, and they have unlicensed guns. Why is nobody saying we must find these people who have unlicensed guns and who are killing our citizens? This is an issue at the heart of this conversation.
So, I mean, we